All right, so thank you for tuning in to InStyleAtlanta.com. I'm CJ, and today's guest is Princess Banton-Lofters. Actually, it is producer. Producer Princess, okay?
No, we ain't got no names around here.
No.
It just be the names people give you.
Exactly.
Princess.
How you doing today?
I'm amazing. I am amazing. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you being here. You've been up to some big things lately.
Listen, big things popping, that they say.
Actually, we got to take this back some years. You've been
okay.
up to some big things since around 2007, 2008.
Right. Okay, homework, yes.
Oh, yeah, homework is here. Homework is here. So, once I got word that I was interviewing Miss Princess Banton-Lofters, I had to do a little research, and then to come find out the creator and founder of one of my favorite shows.
Okay.
I've been watching since day one.
You a
okay,
day one
Wig.
We go.
Okay, Wig.
I was about to test you. I was about to test you now. Go ahead, day one. I appreciate it.
Right. No, Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
This is you.
So, you know what people always say? Your reaction is a lot of people's reaction. They say, I'm today years old, or I just found out, or, I think some of the really like you said, diehard day oneers, some of them be like, oh, I think that's her. I think,
Right.
And my name, people will say my name before they know my face.
Absolutely.
So that's been an intentional thing of mine for, almost 15 years, right? I really stopped doing mainstream media, I guess. It's all lumped in one, in 2012.
Okay.
So a lot of people do that. Now they say, oh, wait a minute, I didn't know. Or they'll tie it to something someone else said and be like,
Right.
wait, what? Are you Princess? Because they know my name. They're,
Right.
Producer Princess? And that's how they find out. So that's me. So, yeah.
All right. So I got a question, because being an Atlanta native, I know you have Jamaican roots. Mm-hmm. Are you an Atlanta native?
I was born in Jamaica.
Okay.
I was raised in Canada.
Okay.
Right? I've been here now 15 years. So what qualifies? Because every state is different. Every place is different you go to. New York is like you got to be here 20 years to be like from New York.
Have you been residing inside? When you first moved here, did you reside inside of 285?
Well, hey, that's a whole nother topic. So back to we're going to rewind this and tie that question back to the show.
Okay.
To the Housewives. So what happened was when I first moved to Atlanta, right? So I lived actually just outside of Atlanta. I lived in Marietta at the time when I right. Okay. So that's just to show you I didn't really understand all these little pockets of,
Right.
You got to really say, okay, if you live in Atlanta, like you said, this whole 285 thing, I didn't know all that.
Okay.
So when I was putting this show together and the show came to fruition and we started filming and we were excited, and me being the, stupid Canadian, I'd be like, well, it's all Atlanta. People were like, no. Ma'am. And they used to come for me like, oh, these girls are from Duluth. These girls, which is true. A lot of them were not.
Yes. Yes.
Inside. I didn't know no different.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I almost wanted them. Because I remember I was like, okay, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Oh, okay.
But
this
not
is
Atlanta.
good. Okay, I'm watching.
Well,
who is that?
But not Atlanta.
Who is that? I ain't ever seen none of these
but
folks.
But that was good, though. I think that was the secret sauce to all of this.
Okay.
Was that the women weren't your main, you didn't know them namesake-wise. You couldn't identify them as somebody you've seen before. And remember, 15 years ago, you really didn't have the person that you could walk down the street and say, I know you from this or I know you from that. Reality television created that.
Yes.
Right? However, I think people were more so, from what I've seen, just bothered by the fact that they didn't reside in the perimeter.
Right.
I would say Atlanta, but look, half the women weren't married either. So, Housewives.
Oh.
I mean,
right. I mean,
wait.
Okay, so wait. No,
not necessarily on our show, but on the franchises in itself. Right?
Okay.
So
Because I was gonna say in
Housewives
Atlanta,
thing.
you actually did a service to it where they were actually
they were
all married.
But a lot of people were saying, what is this whole Housewives thing, which was not in any way has to do with Princess, right?
Right.
This was created by Scott Dunlap in the whole franchise itself,
right,
in Orange County. And so for Princess, it was Princess's take on it, which is putting Black women on television, i.e. Atlanta,
right,
and making that a thing.
Okay.
So it was different. Here we have Black women. There it was Caucasian women, right?
Right.
So that was my thing. I think a lot of people were uptight, honey, uptight. And then when they kind of heard, oh, it's a Canadian, Jamaican girl, then they were really like, oh, she ain't even from here.
Oh, you know what?
It was a thing.
But the thing about it is, I do have to give you your kudos for that, for even just taking Atlanta and what Atlanta is, even the surrounding areas. Black people run this city, baby.
Okay.
This is what we do. And to have the representation of Atlanta and for you to
That's
go
so
out
important.
and pick those women, you know what?
Thank you.
I got to give you that.
Representation
I'm not
was
even
important.
gonna lie. I got to give you that.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
it makes me proud. So I've been,
Thank
I said, I've
you.
been watching the show from day one.
Okay.
So with that being said,
yeah.
how did you come to pick those women?
Okay, so for me, you know, again, I think that the fact that I didn't come from television, my background isn't in television. I didn't go to school. I didn't go to Clark. I didn't go to these, you know, SCADs to become a television producer. It wasn't my, you know, dream all my life. What really happened was I think this industry picked me before I picked it, right?
Okay.
I feel like I was always meant to be in this position to do other things and to be able to create opportunities, right? The Lord already laid this path out for me. I just walked down it.
I like
But
it.
I think,
like it.
yeah. And so I think that in picking the women, it really came with the backstory of that is, you know, I met a producer, a Hollywood producer, and I'm giving you the short version, honey, because the story is too long for this segment.
I read it. You had a mentor over that used to work with BT or something like that.
And that's who I initially pitched. Yeah. So I initially pitched
I did my homework.
TV plug. Yes, honey. My TV pitch in an elevator. I like very much elevator pitch. I met him, heard that he was the former senior vice president of programming at BET, Curtis Gadsden. And I kind of was like, I have an idea. Just, you know, I'm hoping this man, like 6'6", looking at me with his glasses, like, who's this girl, little girl talking to me? And he gave me a chance to sit with him. And literally, I had an idea for video models at the time.
Okay.
Again,
understand that.
Not coming from television. I just had this idea, wrote it all down, which now we know is a treatment. In our world, we call it a treatment. And he graciously gave me his time and just said, let's do this. Let's figure out what it is you want to do, because I feel like you have what it takes to do something big.
Right.
And he said that to me from the beginning.
Okay.
This is with no show, no nothing. It was just him helping me produce this reel. Fast forward, as I'm pitching that idea in LA, the same producer I was meeting with, I found out also did this Orange County show, Real Housewives of Orange County, with a different production company. And literally, as it's happening, giving you the short version, I ended up saying, hey, I know you have this Real Housewives of Orange County, but where it's really at is Atlanta.
Right.
And we have black women that wear fur to the games and drive, you know, Bentleys and live in the 5,000 square foot, 10,000, honey. Because we had a 10,000 square foot Deshaun on the show, square foot house.
Okay.
And we live like that. We dress like that. We eat like that. We shop like that.
Absolutely.
And I kept saying, this is what needs to be seen. And I had the audacity to say, give me some time to put this together. Matter of fact, I said, give me 3 weeks to put this together and come back. And again, it's not the first time that somebody has said, let's put some, you know, predominantly black women in a space like this.
Of course.
It was just the first time it was executed in a way that they can touch and feel and hold and say, oh shit, we got something.
Right.
This little Canadian girl really did do something.
No, absolutely.
And that's how it happened. It really, you know, my mentor, like you said, just kind of put me in the right place at the right time, and I met that producer. And
I love that. I love that.
15 years later, the rest is history.
So Nene, one of my favorites.
Okay.
Love Nene because she come with it.
She's the anchor.
Yeah,
I always call her an anchor.
She's like, she's your villain and she's your hero all at the same time. You know what I'm saying? To be able, and it's not easy to play that role. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when she right, and when she wrong, she's still gonna be right. But she
I was about to say, hold on now, where are we going with this?
But she's
I
still
can fill
gonna,
in that blank.
But you know, she has such a strong presence on the show, and I, especially in helping Real Housewives of Atlanta, being that statement show on Bravo.
Period.
How did you come to choose Nene?
Okay. Again, she chose the world the minute I met her. I'm just going to say this. The minute I met Nene, I met her, I went to her house. So just to give you context as well, a lot of people feel like, and because I don't tell the story that often, now I will, felt like maybe there was a big production behind it and all these cameras came in and, all this. No, it was me. At the time, there was no show. It was me running around Atlanta, hoping that these women that lived far out in Sugarloaf would sit down and talk to me. Right. This Canadian girl. And I was like a kid. I was still in my 20s. I wore Converse. I was very, little tomboyish. And that was literally me showing up to their house to say, hey, I want to interview you. And, by the time I get to their house, I've already talked to them on the phone and did all that.
Right.
But Nene was very much that. She took my call. She said, come on over, girl. And she answered the door. She had wine in her hand. And I remember she hadn't eaten very much from what she told me. So by then she was a little tipsy.
Okay.
But what I loved about her was immediately I could see in her, if I could find 4 more women like this, just even a little bit like this,
right,
I got something. And she was so open. Mm-hmm. She believed in it, which was really important because I strongly believed in it, right? And it's hard to convince other women and just people in general that what you doing this show, girl? What you doing this little show, girl? Especially a girl from Canada, right? It's like, what are you doing? Okay, you want to watch you TV show, sure. She believed in it.
Okay.
From the very beginning, she was her authentic self. And the minute I met her, I was like, oh my God, she's amazing. And if I could find more women like her. So I asked her, I love you. Who are your friends? Who are your friends? She tells the story and that's it. I literally, now mind you, I still had to okay them. I still had to say yes. I still had to interview them. And I was interviewing other women in the city.
Of course.
But that core group.
Might as well be friends in the beginning.
They were.
And might as well be friends because that makes it even more interesting. Sauce. So then that leads me to Kim Zolciak.
Okay.
When you found out about the whole situation with Big Papa, and then we never saw Big Papa.
Okay.
How did you think that was even going to translate on camera?
Well, you got to rewind. So when I met Kim, similar to Nene, to be honest, I had already said I was only interested in, again, I was extremely bold and I was pretty vocal without even, listen, I think when you go into something not knowing your power or what you should be saying or not saying, like who's an executive, who's not, I didn't care. I don't know if you can cuss on this show, but I didn't care.
Absolutely.
I said, oh, hey, sir, ma'am, I'm not interviewing anybody who is not black. If you are, period, and everybody knows this, it's not a secret. I said, I want an all-black cast, right? I said that over and over. I was very adamant about that. I kept saying I want women who look like me. I was like, if you brown, like you Indian maybe, you mixed, I was like, okay, we give a little slide.
Right.
But I interviewed women that to me just represented what I felt like I wanted to see.
Okay.
And then here come Kim. Kim. We gonna call her Kim. Here comes
that is Kim. The funniest nickname ever. I love it.
She loves her wigs now. I don't think she shies away. But for me, again, I met her.
Okay.
Nene referred her. That was Nene's friend. And I remember going, ooh, girl, I don't know. Because, again, I have a very strict criteria for this situation. And it was my choice. Okay. There wasn't even, there was no network involved. It was Princess's choice.
I love it.
So I say, all right, we gonna meet Kim. Same thing. I knock on the door. Kim answers the door. She has a puppy, a Pomeranian, like them little puppies, Pomeranians, I think they're called, something like that, right? In one hand, wine in the other hand. She has furry bed slippers on. I remember it was like literally like it was yesterday. And she was Kim from, she literally, hey girl, come on in. I want to say she had a cigarette in her hand, but
I would not be surprised.
Listen.
I would not be surprised.
Okay. And I loved her. And I said, oh, shit, I might need to rethink this whole all black thing. But to me, it wasn't even rethinking. It was about the ingredients that I knew it was going to take to make a successful show.
Right.
And to be able to, quote, sell it, right? And make sure that these producers loved it. So that's how Kim got in the fold. And I think it was a unexpected wild card that was a blessing for us.
Absolutely.
It really was.
All right. Yeah. So when it came to doing everything, shopping the show to them, them saying yes, picking it up, shooting everything, there has been a lot of not so much controversy, but talk in terms of women getting the credit that they deserve for the things that they have created, especially Black women.
Yeah.
And Dwight is like one of my, like a family member to me. So even when I had a quick conversation with him about you, he was like, she didn't get the credit she deserved. She never got the credit she deserved.
Sure, yeah.
I was even like, is her name in the credits? I went to some
15 years later.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually I saw one episode. I literally just watched it before I came here. It was season 9. It was the She Did That episode where Sheree debuted her house because it was finally ready.
Okay.
Right. So
tell me.
And then at the end, though, when Sheree's standing on the steps, she's like, "Thank you for everybody coming to be here." Blah blah blah. All I was looking for was Princess Banton-Lofters, lower left, and I was like, "Sis did that."
Period.
What did it take to get that done?
Okay. So I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of people do talk about credit, and I think when you talk about credit, you talk about the verbalization of said credit, right? So saying the person's name, declaring what you've done, and making sure that people understand what you've done in terms of the physical act of doing. For me, it was more than that. When I worked on the show, first of all, like after the show kind of, came together very quickly and everybody was here filming, what I had the presence of mind to know is that I had value, and I brought a great deal of value because I produced all the stories in order to get the show, this first season, going. All of the things that you see in season 1 were things that all the girls told me prior to getting signed, right?
Gotcha.
Prior to the show being picked up. I understood my value. And so I'm working on the show, working with the girls, everything is happening. And one of the executives whispered in my ear and said, "Hey, look, have you negotiated a contract yet?" And I hadn't yet, but I knew I was going to. That was the plan.
Right.
And she kept saying, "Don't forget to, I know you're busy working," because it was season 1, honey. It was crazy, right? We were guerrilla style for real. We were guerrilla style in real form. If you look it up, there is us running, doing the job of 10 for every one person. But I kept remembering that I was busy every day. I'd start early, end late. And I literally said I had to take time to make sure that I secure my future and secure my legacy. And that's exactly what I did. Halfway through season 1, I got a lawyer, honey, great, amazing lawyer.
I love
and
it.
She did not settle or negotiate. She literally was like, "Oh, girl, we're not even going to entertain some of this stuff. Just keep on working, girl. You ain't going nowhere. Keep on working." And I kept working quietly. And when that contract came through, she said, "As long as your name is in the credits for life, you're locked for life, and you get paid for life, that's it. Whatever you choose to do after that, you choose to do. So if you want to stay public, you want to go private, you want to whatever you want to do." It was the smartest decision I ever made, and I'm glad that I listened to that advice, because I could have taken a payout, I could have done a lot of things.
Right.
And then here you'd be looking up for my name like, "Ooh, child, I don't even know if this real child, because where is her name?" And you'd have to, especially because I'm not in the media like every day like a lot of people are, you'd really have to question it like, "Oh shit." But you as a journalist and as an investigator have to say, "Let me look this up, child."
Yes.
Oh, there it is. Let's go.
Because Mariah Huck, she's been going through it with Married to Medicine and having that fight and struggle. But one thing about it, I've always seen Mariah's name very big on Married to Medicine when in the credits. So that's why to prepare myself for this, I was like, wait, I made a couple phone calls. I was like, have we ever seen Princess name in the credits? Oh no. And I just said, you know what? Let me just go pulled up a random episode. And then there it was right there. And I was like, okay, that answers my question right there.
Simple.
And I think you coming at this point in time on a new show and having the experience of producing a really big show, people that are wanting to do the same thing need to know, like, have your I's dotted and your T's crossed.
Absolutely. That's my biggest takeaway. I think when people kind of because people get very, there's a lot of mixed feelings on, me being more public about the creative side of things. And for good reason. I think as women, if we don't continue to credit ourselves and let people know that we exist and we are behind things, then like you said earlier, it just waters down who we are, right? It doesn't allow that other, that 14-year-old girl saying, gosh, I wonder if I could do that. And then she pops up and sees someone like me, like you, and says, well, I'm like Mariah, I think I can do this.
Right.
I think that that's where it's important to make these conversations and have these conversations and just let people know, like, we've been out here doing it.
Right.
You're right. And but from the other lens, like the in front lens, I think a lot of people confuse being in front of the camera and behind the camera. There's a lot of like confusion. Mariah did it the right way, where she put herself on her own show,
right?
So she could get her credit and let people know who she is at the same time. So it's television.
So how do you feel when you have somebody that's like a Andy Cohen that wants to come and kind of take credit for everything that you put together in terms of that specific part of the franchise?
Yeah, I don't see it that way.
Okay.
Right? I don't know. Maybe it's the Canadian in me. Maybe it's the I'm a very, very diplomatic person. Because I understand the behind the scenes framework of everything. I'm never bothered by any of that, because at the end of the day, Andy Cohen is who said yes to me. A lot of people don't know that.
I like the way you put that, though.
Absolutely. If he had not said yes to this franchise, he was the senior vice president of programming for Bravo for years. Okay. So some people know that, some people don't. I'm sure most people know that.
Right.
And
absolutely.
what he was the yes man, period. He said yes to Princess. I am grateful for that forever, because he could have very well said, no, we not going we're not going to try this here black show.
Right.
But he very much was interested. And that being said as well, the politics behind the executives and who does what and who gets credit for what and how that all works and why people don't get executive producer credits and only, all these things are all the red tape.
Right.
And it's difficult for you to sit and explain it all. But just to answer your question, Andy was the one who was behind Orange County.
Right.
He then said yes to Atlanta. He then said yes to New York and Beverly Hills, and he's that person. He also was able to do something for himself that many people aspire to do, and some are now doing it, the Carlos Kings of the world.
Right.
He said, hey, I see an opportunity for me to tie myself to something that I did. I don't take that away from him.
Right.
I should have been a smarter bitch and did that myself. If I wanted that limelight, I never wanted it. But he loved it. He basked in it. And I think that he created a lane that he could do that.
But the thing about it is now, though, it's like you are now in a position where you creating Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
For it to be what it is, and 15 years later.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, Bold and Bougie is what you're on now, where you put yourself in front of the camera. Now it means it's time for you to have a one-on-one sit down with Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live.
Right. Listen, let's claim this. Let's make it happen. Let's claim it.
Like, seriously.
Period. I agree. I think that, I met Andy years ago, and Andy had a very specific role, even with the reunions and so on and so forth. For me, I never had the desire to do mainstream media, much less that big platform of media, right?
Right.
I think, though, when thinking about it and understanding that you do need to put the faces with the names now.
You have to.
That is the reason why I'm even on this show that we're talking about, right?
Right.
So many people for so many years. And let me just say this. WeTV would never, ever put me on their network saying, hey, I'm the Real Housewives. If that shit wasn't a thing and true.
Absolutely.
They not trying to go, they not here for any of that smoke. So them, the executives over at Kingdom Reign, the other people that were involved, understood the importance of giving this Black creative female her flowers. They understood that, and they were very much like, what we gonna do? How we gonna do this, princess? And they wanted that for me, and I think that I appreciated the platform in which to tell my own story and write my own story, so that other people could stop writing it for me.
Absolutely.
Because that's
I
what
agree.
happens, right? So, no, I think that one day I will sit down with Andy. It's just never been a thing. It's never been a no.
No, got you.
Ever. It's just been listen, when I want something, I just say, hey, connect me with Andy.
I like
Let's make
that.
this happen. That's how I am. So none of that bothers me. None of that bothers me.
All right. So before we go on to the future and present
Okay.
endeavors that we're talking on that you have going on, I got one more question
Okay.
for you. When it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta,
Let's do it.
when Nene left, how did that make you feel?
Anything that will not benefit the franchise always makes me feel like that's my baby.
I know.
I always want my babies to do well and to flourish. And let's just be real. The longer and the better the show does and longer the show survives is, again, a reflection of Princess because it's part of my legacy.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I have no shame in saying I get credited, I get paid, period, every year. So for me, it's a smart business to know that if you have a great part of the show, listen, the fans love it or hate it, whatever the case may be.
Right.
I always feel like people should always get an opportunity to fulfill what it is they're trying to do. Now, I also will say there is an expiration date on certain things, and sometimes that happens whether you agree with it or not.
Got you.
Right? So that could very well have been the case, but I think that, I don't ever want to see anybody go because I'm cool with everybody.
I think she just needed to pull a She by Sheree, She had it on, she was baking it, and then later on it came to fruition.
There it is.
She took a break, and then she came back.
Listen,
So,
things have happened.
Yeah, they
Things
have.
have happened, right?
They have.
You've seen people pop up.
Like you,
And-
popping up on Bold and Bougie.
And pop up.
Popping up on Bold and Bougie.
Okay.
You seen that? You see how you just
I
did
don't-
that? Because now.
I've not even seen that little trailer. Someone had to send it to me.
Oh, my
My
gosh.
publicist or someone sent it to me, Chad. I said, wait, what is this?
Because now you have gone from producing people to now being produced. What's going on with that? Tell us how you like that.
How I like that. Well, no. You know what? Again, it was really, I got a phone call from Kingdom Reign, from Carlos King, who owns Kingdom Reign. That is my baby. Period. He started with me. He's only a few years younger than me, but Chaz, my child. They're all my children, even the older
love
ones.
it.
And listen, it was such an unexpected conversation, and it went left very quickly. We were talking about one thing, and then it was and then all of a sudden he was like, "The producers want to call you and talk to you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, about what?" And then it just kind of, the conversation naturally started to go towards, look, before you say no, this is what we think. And we just think that this and that, and it's good. It's an ensemble group of women. And, again, it was more about shining a light on female creatives and giving me an opportunity, let's just say, and also the world to see a me, right?
Right.
And know. And that's how the conversation started. And I was like, oh, Lord, wait a minute now. And, I didn't, I'm not a very reactive person, so I kind of was like, all right, cool. And,
Right.
Listen, I hate when people say, yeah, they approached me at the show, and I was like, I don't know, child, because 90% of the time,
They
that
be
is
like,
not
yeah.
the case.
Tell
Okay?
tell us what they be doing, sis. What they be doing, sis.
First of all, DMs, messages, text messages through other people. I get messages. People message my husband talking about, so I got a friend. Her name is Jennifer. She beautiful and she should be on Housewives. Can you tell your wife? Or people will just straight.
Oh
I've
my
been
gosh.
bribed. I've been every single thing.
What's the best
Because
bribe?
for years and years, I would still do interviews and bring people on the show.
What's the best bribe?
People,
What's the best
cars, money. Girl, hey, look, I know they pay sometimes, but girl, I'm gonna pay you, okay? I'm not kidding. Yo, I might get in trouble for shit, but I'm telling you, this is the type of stuff
Right.
that people do, whether it's to me or other producers, because they understand the platform.
Right. Absolutely.
They're
It's a
like,
big platform.
"Sis, how we
Overnight.
gonna do this?
It's
sis?"
overnight.
Overnight. Especially that one.
Exactly.
Overnight, baby. You put
Yes.
your big toe in there, but you can't buy that type of advertisement. So don't get it. Girl, you know you want to do this, girl.
Find out I just found the plug.
Girl,
Who want to be on Housewives?
Shit.
Who want to be on Housewives?
Stupid. That's what they do, though. They want to be on this show. So, but people do this whole, I don't know. And listen, again, because I'm me, people really do know me.
Right.
I really, truly was like, I don't know, bro.
Right.
Let me. I wasn't like, oh God. No. I was like, I understand what comes with it. She over there laughing at me. Listen, I'm crazy now. Which is probably why they put me on.
Love it.
I understand what comes with being on the other side of the camera. Right? Now, I'll say this. I'm not familiar with it because, and people don't understand this either, but this is true tea, I don't go on set. And I haven't been on set in years. Okay. On any of the shows that I help develop and interview, I do the fun stuff. I do this stuff.
Right.
This who you are, girl. Tell me about yourself, girl. Let me get on your business, honey. You got, you married, girl. You date. That's what I do. I do the fun stuff. I pitch them to the network, production companies, producers, and I watch them flourish into these beautiful on-camera personalities.
Right.
From afar, from my house, from the beach. Right?
I love that. Okay.
I don't do all the on-set stuff because it really, truly is not something I signed up for. People have asked me to, hey, you should show run and you should be, no ma'am, no sir. She is not cut out for that. She is not cut.
But you have definitely signed up now.
Well, this is the thing. Not as a producer, as a cast member.
No, I know. Exactly.
So seeing what these producers go through to get us bitches in line. Like, girl, if you don't come on, what we doing?
Pulling secrets out because they sat there in front of you and was like, girl, what's your husband doing? What you doing? How long y'all been married? Where's the last vacation?
All that. And listen, I know what I signed up for in that respect. But it's definitely, I have now gained a new level of respect for people who've been on television.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
It is it's an all the other women who are on this show have been on television multiple times. Okay. I have never. I think for me, it was, you'll see, because my face is like this half time. Like, yeah.
No.
It's either like that or like, I make a lot of faces, so they be making fun of me over there. Like, girl, your faces, because I be like, ooh, or I'm like, ooh, I gotta go.
Yeah, you can't run from that.
I gotta go.
Okay, let's break it down, because you help produce one of the biggest shows that we've seen on television, and everybody tunes in every single year.
The fun stuff now, but
right.
Go ahead.
But I'm just saying, now you yourself cannot be shocked or surprised.
I'm not.
Because at what point during filming did you stop producing yourself?
You know what? That's a good question. Because, I went into it, well, contrary to, it depends on who you ask. Because I wasn't producing myself. I was more like, oh, shit, how do I produce myself? What do I gotta do in this situation?
You pre-plan things in your head.
You know what? I was in my head. I think it's natural. Even if you've been on television for years, when you get behind the camera turns on for the first, couple minutes or so, you'd be like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. And then you're like, depending on how you are, and I am direct. Okay. I would say probably people say I'm the nice one on the show. I'm very diplomatic. I'm very loving, all that stuff. But I'm very direct. So depending how the conversation's going, you see I forgot the camera's there. You do see that where it's like, now what now? It happens. But I think that's what happens on TV. When the camera is on you, you truly forget that the camera's on you. And you be like, oh, shit, did I just say that? It took me a little minute to say, princess, just be yours. Because I was very much being myself. But I think even in being myself, I was altering.
Of course.
You kind of think, well, child, I don't want to do this. I don't want to embarrass my kids now. And my husband, little doctor husband of mine now. Right? Because he's a whole doctor now. It was something you think about. Okay. I think towards the end, I was like, what are we doing? Because, and I had fun with it. Right. I will say it is an experience that I enjoyed because I enjoyed all the girls. Right. I really loved the girls on the show. Good, bad, whatever you want to say. I was like, girl, I like you.
So that was about to be my next question. Yeah. Were you all friends? at first, or did you just know each other or know of each other?
We knew of each other and knew each other to some degree. I think for me, I was most familiar with Tamika because we had spent time in the last couple of years, ironically, just around each other. She'd come to parties I'd have, and I would support things she does. I've known Malaysia for years indirectly, but not hung out with her. Gaucher I've known for years. We kind of run in the same circles. And Crystal Renee was the only one I didn't really know, had never met, and met her and was like, oh, girl, I feel like I've known you forever. So for me, it was easy. I wasn't like moved by the not knowing someone. I actually liked that.
Okay.
Because then you don't get a, you don't get a thing in your mind where you're like, oh, girl, that's not how you really are. I don't know how you really are.
Right.
I don't know how you really are. So,
all right.
No judgment.
With you being familiar with Tamika and knowing her for a few years, and then Malaysia, did you watch any of the other shows that they were on before? So
with Tamika, no, not. I might have caught something here or there. I feel like it was probably too long for me to. I tune into something and I'll be forgetting. Like, did that happen? I'll be forgetting. With Malaysia, yes, I was more familiar with her because I watch Basketball Wives because I have different, acquaintances and, friends, and again, small circle. Right. Everybody knows everybody. So yeah, I've watched Basketball Wives probably more than anything else. So I was more familiar with Malaysia. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And nothing else really. None of the other shows.
All right. Mm-hmm. So it's 5 of you.
5, yeah.
5 powerful women.
Uh-huh. Big personalities going now.
Yeah, so you know where I'm going with this. You know where I'm going with this.
Where you going with this?
How many times were y'all shaking the table, or were y'all having like a lot of kumbaya moments?
Listen, I'm really from princesses. First of all, Princess was Princess. Y'all hear me? Princess was ow. You know that's doing it. Princess was Princess all the time, and I think that I can only be myself. Okay. Towards the end of production, the producer's like, bitch, you really just Prince. I'm really just me, for real. And so I just did. There's moments where you're like, I had my moments for sure, where I think with anybody, if you feel like, you being kind of, pushed in a direction you don't want it, the natural defense is to be like, wait, what? Especially if I'm not a punk now, so. Clearly, I didn't accomplish all this. I'm just waiting for the
accent to come out. You know what I'm saying? Like, what pushes that button to get the accent to come out?
Jamaican accent?
Yes.
Put me around some other Jamaicans. Because I do say some shit on the show, like, who mans is this? Whose man is this? Like, there's stuff on there that they're like, oh, girl, this girl definitely Jamaican. And I mean, listen, I feel like we didn't shake the table per se, and maybe things are perceived that way once you watch it. I'm just saying.
Right.
I didn't shake no tables. I shook my neck, shook my back. Okay. I did some things, but it was just out of how I felt at the time. The good thing is, I feel like we as a group collectively had a lot of great conflict resolution. Okay. I don't think there's enough shows that do that. So we would be like, girl, what? And then he'd be like, okay, so when you had did that, right? We got to talk about that. Right. I loved that. Okay. I was like, we gonna talk about it, girl? Okay, let's talk about it. Because you don't see that a lot. You get a lot of do, and then they walk away, and 3 episodes later, we still talking about it. I'm so mad.
But you have to know that I feel with 5 powerful women like yourselves, you guys all have names. Yeah. Your names are recognizable, some household names, right? Sure. There will be a comparison to your creation.
Absolutely.
They got Manetta. You got Crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all got Malaysia. Who they got over there right now? I mean, not to say like comparisons, and just in terms of like fame.
I get it.
It's going to be a comparison.
I get it.
What do you have to say to that, to people that want to do that?
Every smart producer produces smart. Okay? The end. So at the end of the day, if you are not a smart producer, you won't be able to see, hey, there might be space for another group of women who might be like this. I don't think we are the same. That's just my personal view. I feel like even as a cast, we're just so different. When you line us up and you kind of see us, like when we're together, you're like, okay, it's a pretty bunch of bitches that are, some bosses. But really, it's like there's something for everybody in this cast. It's a little bit of like, okay, you know, you got a little Bougetto, you got a little hood, you know what I mean? You got, you know, you got a little Canadian speak proper, whatever, and then you've got a little bit of something for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there won't be a heavy comparison in that way. There will be similarities that any smart producer, the foundation has already been laid.
Right.
Right? By shows like Housewives.
Right.
Why recreate the wheel, child? We just gonna stick some other women in there and we gonna do the thing.
Except this time everybody knows their name.
Well, that. Except for me.
Oh, Princess, people know your name.
The name, but they don't do. Listen, I'm so happy that I'm the one that has never, you know, they're going to be like, who's this? And she did what? Okay. You know, I love that. I love that for us as a culture. And not just Princess. I love it for us as a culture because we get to find out who the black girl is.
Absolutely.
Who did the show.
Absolutely.
That's great for the culture.
I love it.
Period.
Now, on the show, I had the privilege to come to your fashion show. Yeah. I enjoyed myself. They didn't have any gluten-free options for food, but the drinks, I was taking them down, baby. I was taking them down.
Next show, gluten-free options.
I got you. I got you.
Oh, gosh.
So with you in fashion, we were in Dillard's. Yes, we were in Dillard's. So, and you're about to actually have some of your own pieces in Dillard's. Tell us a little bit about that.
Listen, I think that, again, knowing what platform is great for you and being able to capitalize on that in the moment that matters is where I am, right? I've been in television and kind of hopping in and out, and I've done several other things. We own a dental practice, shout out Smile Envy. You know, and I think that I've represented quite a few things well, and I felt like for me, fashion has always been my passion. Fashion has saved my life, literally. And I feel like because it's loved me, I needed to pay attention to that. Because a lot of times I would show up and I'd feel horrible. I'd be having a terrible day.
Right.
And the first thing people would say is, bitch, now you sure know how to fucking try. You know, they'd be really into what I'm wearing or asking me questions and so on. And I just started to just listen. One thing about us as women or as the culture, we need to pay attention to the signs. If somebody says to you over and over and over again, girl, your hair always be laid, bitch. And hair is your thing? Yes, girl. You got to pay attention to that.
No, absolutely.
You got pretty skin. If people say things to you and feed into it, they're planting seeds into you.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
So all across the world, you walk through your day, you're in the grocery store, someone's telling you your skin is pretty. On and on and on everywhere you go. Do not dismiss these voices as noise.
Okay.
Do not dismiss these voices because what they're really doing, your friends, your family, whoever, they're letting you know, hey, this is part of who you are. You gonna follow it, or you gonna let it just drift away because you easily can miss your mark, right?
Absolutely.
For me, that's what it was. I just love fashion so much that I started to say, let's pay attention to this. People keep saying, let's pay attention to it. And then ironically, as God would have it, this platform came. And I said, oh, shit. Okay. I was going to do the fashion show anyway.
Right.
It's my second one.
Oh,
so
nice.
I've had to deal with Dillard's now for a year. First as an influencer who knew that, what? I don't know what I got to do. You're going to give me a check to put on some clothes? Okay. And it was fun. And then it was like, what can I do with this? So what is the next level of this? And for me, it was, I'm doing a show. What do I want to do next? Okay. I want to design a very small collection for Princess.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, maybe I could do that on the show. And I didn't think I had time. But the owner called me and said, you do. You have time and you can do it.
Oh, wow.
You got 2 weeks, but go ahead and do it. And I did. And so that's what you got to see was me showing pieces from Dillard's, but also at the very end throwing in 4 pieces that were my very own designs. I literally sat with the designer. Well, we Skyped because she was in LA and told her, I want it like this. I want it bodiced. I want, a full jumpsuit. I want my coat, I'm very inspired by like Balenciaga oversized type of things.
Got you.
And that's what I did. And so that's what you've seen.
What type of bond did that help create between you and Tamika? Because she also does fashion. She was doing fashion for a long time.
Yeah, Tamika's the OG. I say that 100 million times on the show. It just strengthened the fact that I know that women around me, again, I would love to pass the torch on from what I do to another woman, right? Especially if she's in my cipher and right around me.
Absolutely.
I want to do that. I feel like Tamika's like that too. She just was like, oh yeah, well, this is what I do. Now she's a creator and a designer. So she went from styling to creating her own line.
Right.
I aspire to do that. And so for me, I just soaked up what she gave me and took it and, ran with it. Like I already had my own vision. But to have somebody sit beside me and be like, girl, I did this, and this is the up and the down of it.
Absolutely.
And hopefully she'll teach me more stuff next season.
That's the thing. Doing things like that, we have to have more open dialogue and communication. Like it goes back to the conversation we had earlier where it's like people see you doing this, they want to know, they want to do it, they can do it. You know what I'm saying? And you guys are paving the way for them to do this. So I like that.
I'm an open book. I mean, shit.
No, I love it.
I'm not even shady type. I don't care.
So I want to do a little segment of hot topics with you, but before we get to that, philanthropy.
Yes.
I know you're big in philanthropy.
I am. Very.
Tell us a little bit about that too.
So several things. My husband is an orthodontist. We have our own dental firm. And so for years.
Okay, married to medicine.
Yeah, okay.
Married to medicine. Look at this.
I'd have told you now. People didn't talk to me about TV.
Exactly.
Oh, but no, so it's for years we've kind of been in the community teaching oral health. On my own side of things, I have a nonprofit called Merging Budding Nonprofit. I'm so proud of it because it's growing.
Okay.
Producing Princesses. And so I just basically mentor young women 14 to 18. I started in LA, Lock Collegiate in Compton, honey, in 2014. Okay. And I loved it so much that I just kept saying, I need to continue to do this. I just need to. So I just wrangle all my friends, the Jazzy McBee, who's my buddy. She has a great foundation. And say, hey, like whatever you're doing, I'll either do it with you or, put me into what you're doing I can mentor these young women through our organizations. And so that was actually what the proceeds to my fashion show went to. And we bought a bunch of coats and book bags. And actually, we ended up buying a young lady a gift, which was so special. I won't even share the moment because she'll be embarrassed. But it really meant a lot to me to do that for her. And it was just a conversation that I had. I was like, what am I going to do with this? And she popped up. And so those types of things for me are really important. And that's kind of my give back.
Okay.
And I really love it. And it's, producing princesses fitting. So
Princess over here sowing seeds.
Oh, hi.
Sowing seeds. I see you, sis. All right. So we got a couple hot topics in the press going on right now.
I may or may not.
Look, y'all see this clipboard? I hate this clipboard.
And I may not know this shit. Let me just disclaimer, bitch. People ask me stuff. I swear to God, I won't know.
I'll read it.
I'll be like, I don't even know what this is about. I promise you. They be like, girl, you lying. Ask them. I swear to God. Go ahead, though.
Okay, all right. Number one thing.
What?
Hot topic.
Okay.
Taraji P. Henson.
Yep.
Equal pay for black actors and executives. You know anything about it?
I don't know anything, but I certainly have an input now, Chad.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
For this. We have been underpaid for years. It goes without saying that it is not a secret that as black creatives, even on the in front of the camera side, so whether it's producers or actors or people in entertainment, we have been making less money than our white counterparts for years. This is a fact, right? Look it up, period. This is not a debate. And so I think someone like her just kind of saying her truth and wanting to be able to verbalize that, I think it gave people courage to talk about it.
Right.
And she came from such a honest place. You could see it was gut-wrenching for her, but it was scary too. And I thought that was really, that takes a lot of braveness to be vulnerable enough to talk about something that may not be widely, because people will still say, well, bitch, you make a lot of money now. Would you complain? At the end of the day, fair is
equal
fair.
Equal pay.
Equal is the word, equal. And so, and then of course the men and women thing, I think she touched on that too. I think that was probably the bulk of what she's talking about. That's a fact as well.
I think the scary thing from what she said for me was it makes her want to quit acting.
Yes.
And that right there, we already don't have that much representation, And even though we do have up and coming, we still need those OGs.
Imagine this. You just said it made you scared from the on-camera side, from her wanting to quit acting. Imagine if Black producers wanted to quit producing because they weren't being paired fairly. Now you really have a problem. Now we really have no representation.
That's a nightmare. That's a whole nightmare.
That's a nightmare. And so that is what is truly concerning about the entire thing. Not a new topic, and certainly I think one that I don't know that that's ever going to be fully fulfilled.
Right.
You know?
Well, now
in our lifetime, but I will try.
Well, now you got 2 crowns to wear. You still got to keep producing, and now you got to be in front of the camera. Now you got 2 jobs. Now you stuck. Now you here.
Not Clarissa shaking her head.
Double check. That's all I heard. All I heard was double check.
Yeah. Hey, I'm about that now.
So Bethany is coming forward about reality pay. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that?
So again, I'm all for equal and I'm all for fair, right?
Right.
I do feel like at times, no matter if you're in front of the camera or behind the camera, you will feel that you're not being valued. I think we all go through that at some point, right?
Right.
But if it's on paper, if it's in print that you're not being valued and being paid what you should be, or there's an opportunity for you to understand the behind the scenes of it all, like how much money really out here and how much money we getting, or what is the sacrifice for me putting my life out here. I think we're all going to be able to relate to that feeling. However, someone like Bethany has a platform in which to speak on it.
Right.
Right. Television has been good to a lot of those girls. You know, it's also done some damage.
Absolutely.
I am for the stance of, at times, and I say this with caution, you know what you sign up for. Okay? Does it make it fair? It doesn't make it fair. I signed up for a whole in front of the camera thing, and I might at times be like, well, this shit ain't fair. Well, wait a minute now. How come I'm not this, make more money, more famous, and why this and why that? How come they don't want to?
Right.
You're always going to feel that way. I think that there is some validity in everybody's point of view, especially if it's personal. Mm-hmm. She has the experience to speak on it personally.
So what about in a situation, because normally when these shows come out, especially when they're brand new shows, new concepts, never really done before, the base pay is pretty low because they're probably trying to figure out where it's going to go, right?
Yeah.
And then as it grows, then negotiation happens. Right. Mm-hmm. But when you get to a point where it's like you're negotiating, you know your star power.
You know your value and your worth.
Is it okay to walk away?
You should walk away.
But they don't.
Girl, well then.
They don't walk away.
Okay, I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Some people, and this is where it goes back to having a full plate. So if you got your plate, you got your potatoes, you got your meat, you got your vegetables, you got a whole lot going on your plate.
Right.
You're good. If you remove them vegetables, you still straight. You're going to be able to eat. I'm always going to eat.
Right.
Right? So for me, reality, if you go into something and you're like, this is it. This is all I got. This is my whole thing. You're dumb, like mad dumb, because what's going to happen is you're going to wear yourself out in that one lane, running in that one lane, and this is all you have, and now you're trying to negotiate because it's all you have.
Right.
For some people, not for all, there's been some savvy reality show stars that have, listen, love it or not, Bethany's one of them.
Yes.
Bethany was able to, now I will say this, hope I don't get in trouble, it could have something to do with her personal fan base and her ethnicity.
Got you.
It could.
Understood.
Right?
Completely.
We can say the same thing for our own personal, like, you know, hey, I'm Jamaican. They're going to rock with me because I'm Jamaican. Right. So I think that if you're smart, you have different avenues of income. Mm-hmm. You're able to create great opportunities. Reality TV is a commercial you cannot pay for. I ain't got enough money, honey, to call We TV now and be like, hey, drop me this 30-second spot. Right. You know how much money that costs?
Right.
Girl, these little ads are expensive. Right. And ain't nobody trying to do that. Unless you really, that's part of what you're doing, it's extremely expensive. But you pop on the camera on the other side, this is a 9 to 8 to 12 to 14-week commercial.
Right.
For yourself. So you better market yourself and do something proper with your moment. Absolutely. So some of those women, I think some of the people in general, you just have to take your moment and market yourself correctly. get a great team who can help you with that. And make sure that you seize your opportunity and make the best of it. Some people don't do that. And that's why they're possibly, at times, not all the time,
right,
they have an issue with what's going on because they're not able to walk away.
So, okay, let me ask you about this one cast member. Phaedra dug herself in a hell of a hole. Got kicked off.
I don't know nothing about that. Go ahead.
See, I wasn't even going to go there.
Yeah, but you can. I don't know nothing about it.
No. But with that being said, she dug herself in a hole, got kicked off a show.
It's her point of view, y'all.
I mean, that's
okay. You're a viewer and a fan, so you're able to say it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So with
whatever you want to say.
So with that being said,
yes, ma'am.
Now she reappeared on a couple different like spinoff things that were going on, and now she's on Married to Medicine, right?
That's smart.
I'm
What's
not.
The next question. That's very smart.
No, very smart, but at the same
smart.
time, do you watch Married to Medicine?
I know people are Married to Medicine, so I pop in and out.
Right. So on the new season, it looks like she is trying to learn how to play the fence a little more to be able to stay on TV. Because maybe not being on TV before might have just, it's almost like an addiction.
I was going to say that. For some people, we talked earlier about some people may want to be on TV for financial reasons.
Right.
For some people, it's actually the addiction to, I wouldn't call it fame, but being on television,
right?
And people
Exactly.
knowing your name and having that notoriety, right? Because you develop a fan base, and imagine being on TV for so long, and you have all this like everybody loves you, girl, you slay, Alfie, I love you, I love you, I love you, and that kind of dwindles when you're not on television or when you're not in the public eye. Period.
Yeah.
That is something that the people want and crave. And so for some people, that could be the thing for them. They might say, well, you know what, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. I think that a lot of these girls are smart business women.
Right.
So again, if an opportunity comes about that, looks good for you, again, yes, you should think about that. Think about that. So I think a lot of these girls are savvy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Phaedra being one of them.
No, she is a read queen, and that read she did, oh my God, when she said you went and spewed in a cup. This man went and spewed in a cup and got $10 just for you to have a baby.
That's Phaedra. And Phaedra out here entertaining. So she's going to entertain. Dead on arrival.
That is the read of the century. I ain't gonna hold you. That is the read of the century.
That is her. She's great at that. A lot of those girls know exactly what they came for. They know the assignment, understand the assignment, and they're great for it.
Right.
I'm a fan of women who can understand once you kind of say, oh, okay, this is kind of where this is going.
Right.
Being able to make it work for you is an art.
Absolutely.
And women like that are able to make things work for them.
All right.
Well, everybody's going to have their opinion. Some people, no, that doesn't work for her. For her, it works.
This has been great. I have truly enjoyed this. I want everybody to know that I am now the new plug. If you want to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta, you have to bribe me, baby. Okay?
She ain't got no power.
I do. This is my friend. You think you're not my friend?
Oh, shit, right. We friends, girl. Come on.
I just bully her. That's what I did.
Girl.
Let me not use that word.
Her energy was right.
Let me not use that word. No. Princess is my new friend. If you're trying to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta, you gotta go through me in order to get her. So it is what it is. No, I have truly enjoyed this. Just to know where it all comes from, to see what you're doing now. And
am I different than you thought I'd be?
I thought you'd be a little bit more messy, honey. I ain't gonna.
Oh, no.
I'm just playing.
No, honey.
No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. No.
That is the consistent thing about me, though.
I believe it, though.
Like, yo, this girl is dead ass not messy, but I'm still myself.
No,
so
of
you
course.
still, hey, you get it or you don't.
No.
I don't shy away, but I'm not messy.
Honestly,
it's not my brand, so to speak. It's not who I am.
Honestly,
never.
My research on you, it was hard. For the simple fact that you are very closed off, and I can tell that you're very closed off.
Private.
But at the end of the day, having this conversation with you, you're a wide open book, and I love every single minute of it. I love it. So thank you for joining me today. Make sure you guys tune into WeTV Bold and Bougie. So, Princess, let everybody know where we can find you, and then when we need to tune into the show, and what network we're tuning into the show on.
So you can find me on, I'm real boring. I'm on Instagram, Producer Princess.
No, you ain't boring.
That's just my name, Producer Princess on Instagram. And my real name is Princess, by the way. People ask me that stupid question. And the show is going to be on WeTV. Yes, WeTV. I'm really proud of WeTV, by the way. I'm glad to be a part of the WeTV family. WeTV, and it's in February. We don't have an air date, but you know, before you know it, it'll be February.
Don't worry. I'm pretty sure there'll be like a little casting party that y'all have for
a lot of stuff.
Launch date, you know, for the show.
I'm looking
so we
forward
can all
to
see
all
a
of it.
viewing party. That's what I'm trying to say. Hosted by me, because if you want to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta or Bold and Bougie next season, you got to go through me. Yeah, I said it.
Okay. I'm down for this. Story of my life.
Nah, I appreciate you, though. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was fun. This was fun, Jazz. It was a long chat, but it was fun now.
Right.